Instagram is a great place to go for AI tips. And there was someone that said, this will change your life. If you put in there, I need a 5-day meal plan, this is my budget, or these are the ingredients, or this is what the kind of things I like, this is what I want to do, this is my local shop, give me like 5 ideas, da 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 da.
You're listening to With AI FM.
Okay, hello, and welcome to Women with AI, the podcast dedicated to amplifying the voices and perspectives of women in the field of artificial intelligence. Today, we've got rather a special episode to celebrate International Women's Day 2025. The theme this year is to accelerate action, and so as this is such a great opportunity to tie AI, gender equality and action together, I am joined by two very special guests today, the hosts of Relationships with AI and Creatives with AI. So over to you.
Hi, my name's Iyabo and I'm the host of Relationships with AI, and I look specifically at relationships and how AI impacts that, looking at family, romantic relationships, the future of work, business and a whole host of other things. So really excited to be here with you, Joe and Lena.
Hi, I'm Lena Robinson. I'm the host of Creatives with AI, and I talk to creators from all sorts of parts of the industry. It can be graphic designers, it can be artists, it can be, we've just done a composer just recently, and looking at the impact that AI is having specifically on the output, workflow, and just general way of working for people that consider themselves creatives. So yeah, that's kind of me.
Thank you both. It's such a joy to have you here. So we thought we'd look at some questions today and just sort of ask each other the same questions, just so we can sort of like, get a feel for where we are and how we're accelerating action and what we think on International Women's Day. So I'll kick off. My first question to both of you is, was there one moment in your career where you had to accelerate action to make a difference? Let's start with you, Iyabo.
Well, yes, there have been a number of points in my career where I've had to accelerate action to make a difference. But I think a notable one was when I've had a background in the space of youth work and youth work operations, and having to turn around a failing youth provision. And so with that, I implemented a whole change management structure, working with the staff team and helping them from an underperforming youth provision all the way up to looking at training, and also looking at the ways that we serve the young people in the local area. And then the output was really exciting, because after sort of about 18 months of hard graft, we as a team really worked well together and turned around that youth provision, had increased numbers of young people attending the space, really great feedback from the parents, really enjoying the work that we were doing, and also great feedback from my bosses, who really appreciated the work that had been done by the entire team. So that's been a sort of real important landmark in my career journey. What about you, Lena?
Well, I was thinking about this, and like yourself, there's been loads of moments, but one that jumps out in particular, which I think a lot of women will have experienced in one way, shape or form, is I applied it's actually something that happened to me, but I then went on to use it to help women that I mentored afterwards. It was my last job, and they offered me, despite having done 9 interviews to get the offer, and the entire way through, my headhunter and myself have been really clear what my lowest level of pay was. They tried to offer me, in the contract that they sent to me to sign, £20,000 less than what I said was my minimum. And the background of it was that I hadn't worked for a while. I'd been sort of jumping between figuring out whether I wanted to freelance or go back to work or what have you. I had £50 left in my overdraft. I was financially fucked. That freaked me out, but I held my ground, and I sort of took a deep breath, and I went back to them and was very clear about the fact that I'd been clear all the way through how much my minimum was. I wasn't going to accept anything less than that minimum. And they said, well, it's what the budget is. And my answer to them was, I took a deep breath to do this, was you better go find the budget then, hadn't you? Because you clearly want me. You've gone through 9 interviews. It's a operational board level role. If you want me, you're going to have to go away and get the money. Oh, I waited 24 hours. The next day, 24 hours, I got an answer back. Luckily, it was in my favour. They said, we've found the money. They gave me a new contract. And I think the point to that is sometimes you have to accelerate action for yourself, because you make a difference for yourself. I think that's really important, because I think that's probably something that happens a lot to women. But I think it happens a lot to everybody. The difference is men tend to chase after it and not back down, and women will tend to accept it. And I think we need to start taking responsibility for that ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds like, again, I agree in so many, with all those points that you made. It just sounds like you standing your ground and backing yourself, and that for us as a way to accelerate action is just so important, because we're socialized as women in the workspace to be a helper, a supporter, and champion, and be the muscle actually behind a lot of initiatives that get pushed forward. I know for me, as a female leader within the youth space, that was met with a lot of opposition in the change management example that I used. But to your point, Lena, just that whole process of backing yourself and standing firm produces results, because actually that is what is needed to have us to overcome and to achieve that. What about for yourself, Jo? How have you seen it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just to back what you said, Iyabo, about what happened to Lena. After speaking to so many women on this podcast, there is a real difference with how men and women ask for pay rises as well. So even, going in there and actually not going, oh, okay, yeah, start me at the bottom. It's like, no, we have to believe in ourselves. So, I think for me, like, to accelerate action, I was going to say it was when I made the switch from working in a sales role to marketing, because I was on the phone, I was talking to people, I was trying to sell advertising space in this amazing magazine. But at the time I was like, these marketing people I'm speaking to, I could do the job better than them, and I was like, I want to be the person that is making these decisions, not the one that's being sold to. And so I was just, hang on, let's make that change, let's do it. So I did. I paid for myself to do the CIM, the Chartered Institute of Marketing qualification, and I did. I changed the career. The company I was working for was a publishing company. They were like, oh, okay, because I said, look, we haven't even got a marketing department. I'm sat here speaking to all these people. And they said, well, how do you want to use this? What do you want? And I said, make me marketing manager. And they did.
Perfect.
But it just leads to so many other things. So actually, my real answer that I then, when we were thinking of when I was thinking what to say to this, was probably the moment in my career where I've accelerated action is this. It's launching Women with AI. It's advocating, for women and for AI and education in AI and diversity. And, there's a point, I think, when you do realise that there's no right time for anything to happen. So there's no point waiting. No. Just go for it. If you've got an idea and you want something to happen, then, change only happens when you decide to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think we're all learning so much, aren't we, with AI? Yeah. And AI is evolving so fast. And I think we can't wait. We can't afford to wait for others to open doors for us. We have to step through them ourselves.
I agree. So, Iyabo, you were going to ask us a question about, the next question.
Yeah. My question for us three is, if we were to give one piece of advice to anyone listening, men or women, or I should say women or men, let's put it in the right order, who want to be supportive in taking action, what would that be?
For me, the one piece of advice is listen to what's going on, advocate for yourself, and if the men are wanting to know what to do, listen to us a bit more. I think they tend to talk over the top of us, but then they talk over each other, so it's just a thing. It's the listening to each other, hearing what we actually have to say, and giving each other the space to have a voice, because I think a lot of the times women often feel like they don't have a voice. And unlike myself, one of the things I've had to learn is that when I go into a boardroom, I am very confident. So when a man or anybody starts to talk over me, I talk louder. What I've had to learn is that not everybody does that or feels like they can do that, although I do recommend everybody do that. So if somebody starts talking over you, just talk fucking louder. Don't let them do it. Just don't let them do it. So yeah, that's my advice.
And what about for you, Jo?
I would say my answer, how to be supportive, is, I think for everyone, is just to be intentional with what it is that you're doing. And I think this is International Women's Day, and I think, we're talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, but don't just talk about it. We all need to actively support women by advocating for them, making space for their voices, like you say, Lena. Don't let people talk over you, but sometimes you have to make that voice heard. You have to do that yourself. But also it's actually, I see it in meetings, and you probably do as well, when there are other women that are sort of waiting to say something. It's don't wait, even jumping in and going, I think Lena's got something to say, I think Jo's got something to say, I think Iyabo's got something to say. It's just supporting women, because the AI is reshaping the workforce, and that's what we're talking about. And if women aren't part of that shift, the gender gap's just going to widen even more. And support can be as simple as recommending a woman for a leadership role. It's all about the right person for the role and having the right skills. But I think it's actually, supporting each other and recommending women, ensuring that the hiring processes are inclusive, because AI is providing so many upskilling opportunities. This is the time for women to grab those opportunities and not be scared and not think, it's techie, it's nerdy. No, it's change management. It's, use your transferable skills. So I think it's, to help other women take action as well as yourself. Yeah. That is my advice.
Yeah, I mean, both of your points have really been spot on. And for myself, I'm more of the for men and for women. If you're in a senior position and you see junior team members who are female, be their sponsors. I know that I have had really incredible experiences as a result of somebody proactively championing me and mentioning my name in rooms where I don't have access. And so that's a practical way to open the door. And specifically in the space of AI, just that opportunity of being able to, the way of being able to encourage women to be in places whereby the decisions are being made. So if they're not in those specific rooms, get them orbiting around the individuals who are the key decision makers, and encouraging them to have the coffees, go to the sort of networking events whereby they will be in that space, because I know that face to face, and I know this is my experience in the AI space, having face to face conversations with people accelerates those changes in a far faster way. So and that has been real support. I mean, this is testament to me being in the AI community and learning as much as possible here. So certainly all of the men that I've seen who've championed me have placed me in spaces that I wouldn't, if I was just trying to apply online as a faceless individual, that wouldn't have happened. But going proactively to speak and interact, that makes such a difference.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's such an amazing opportunity we've all got here. We're part of the AI revolution, and that's that's the we don't want anyone to be left behind. I speak about bias as well on my show quite a bit, and if women aren't involved in AI development, then the bias gets coded into the future. So this is it. We need to encourage women to be AI doctors, investors, innovators.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that comes up time and time again on Creatives with AI is the requirement for the human to be part of the solution. And I think, it comes up time and time again that it's only reflecting what we're giving it. So we, as women in business and then in AI, we need to be categorically, with the support, to your point, Iyabo, of the men around us that are really amazing, to drive that change in the bias, because the bias is there because I don't want to say we're letting it, but we need to change it. We need to be part of that change. So it's doing what we're giving it. We need to give it more.
And agreed. I certainly know that with the guests that I speak to on Relationships with AI, that whole that sort of connection and the crossover between what's inputted into the actual generative AI space and then the outcome makes such a difference. But it's just that it's the relationship of sort of how do you foster those communities that will bring about change as well, and just to bring about the outcomes that we want to see, whereby there is a high representation of women in this space and being at the decision making point, which is key.
Yeah, because we're underrepresented anyway, in kind of the higher echelons of business and stuff. So, we don't want to be underrepresented in AI leadership.
No.
So mentorship, I quite like you say, like people that are championing you. That's
the sponsorship side of things, because I think like with many groups of people who are underrepresented, there's a leaning towards there's a heavy emphasis on mentorship alone, and that is important, but actually sponsorship is actually what breaks barriers and pushes doors. So actually somebody mentioning you in rooms and in spaces where you may not have access to, because then that elevates, I've seen. So that's personally in my own personal working experience, but also I'm sure a lot of our female listeners and male listeners could relate to.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so we've got one more question, and it's a bit of a fun one.
Excellent.
So if we're all using AI and loving it, so if AI could automate that one thing in our daily life to free up time for action, what would it be? Jo, you start with it.
Okay. I think someone else has said this, so I'm not going to claim their answer. I can't remember who it was, and we should try and find out and put it in the show notes. But I'd like some AI to do the housework, to do something that would free up my time. So I can do all the other so I can be doing the creative stuff. AI shouldn't replace creativity or leadership, but I think, if it can take some of that mental load off, some of that organising, some of that balancing, kind of like your work-home balance. I don't know, it's like having that, is that agentic AI? I don't know, it's like if it can manage your schedules, reduce your admin. I mean, that's what I use it for at work. It's kind of like reducing that kind of like grunt work kind of stuff that can take a long time. It takes time to get, the AI to know what you want it to do, which is why it's important to be going back to it. But I think, I want it to be doing my housework so that I can go and do a painting or do some more rowing or, just get out in the sunshine. So, over to you, Iyabo.
I think that actually is a brilliant idea. I think the thing that I would love it to do, again, it's like, it's not that all things are domestic related, but like meal planning and just going and making suggestions for like things that we can, just create. I like being creative in the kitchen, but like sometimes you get a bit staid if you're just doing the same thing all the time. So actually having help with that's it, and sort of being introduced to new foods and how to do it really quickly, and it be a successful and tasteful meal. I'm a great cook, but I want that.
I love it.
You can. I saw something on Instagram. Instagram is a great place to go for AI tips, and there was someone that said, this will change your life. If you put in there, I need a 5-day meal plan, this is my budget, or these are the ingredients, or this is what the kind of things I like, this is what I want to do, this is my local shop, give me like 5 ideas, da, 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 da. So I'll try and find the link.
Can we stick that in the show notes?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So Lena.
Well, do you know what? I had a long think about this, and like the two of you and a lot of people that I'm talking to, in fact, it came up on my show the other day, AI for me is about giving me headspace, because I cannot, because of my brain, the way it works, it doesn't function very well when I'm overloaded and overwhelmed. So my answer to this question is, I'm 52 years old at the end of the month. Adulting's still hard. It's really, really hard. Just adulting, right? And so the number one 100%. Thing for me, I mean, running your own business, you've got lots. not only is life admin difficult, but business admin. I want it to take away all the daily admin.
Oh,
I
yes.
fucking hate it. It draws me into a place where, like, it's just annoying. Like, piles of receipt, like, rah.
Yeah.
It does some of it, but I need it to do more. So, yeah, like, help me with adulting. Oh, my God.
All 3 points, you know, housework, because then that frees us all up to be able to to speak to the women that we want to speak to do the relationships that we really want to focus and invest in, and to be creative and to be disruptive in those spaces. Yes, totally. I say yes.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Basically, it's what we're talking about. The general theme is about time. Time is really precious. Yeah. We want to buy back our time, and time to really invest it in the things that really nourish us. And that is what we're looking at. You know, again, on Relationships WithAI, it's like, what is it that really nourishes us? We've just expressed what gives us. I end my show with what gives us warm fuzzies and what gives us the ick. And the ick is clearly our time being sapped by things that we just know that are repetitive, robotic, and could be offloaded to something else that would free us up to do the thing that we really love to do.
I love that. I think one of the things that, you know, you get a lot of people that you talk to still quite fearful of the change that AI is bringing. And it is coming, and that's not going to go away, and it is going to bring change. We're going to have to learn to adjust. However, the one big, beautiful thing that I think we need to remember about it is that it can free up our minds. There's so many clever people out there that because they're in the daily grind, their creativity, and I want to be really clear for me what creativity is. It's not just being able to draw or paint or sculpt or make music or whatever. Sometimes it's just the ability to be innovative and think differently and do something. They don't get the headspace to do that. And I think AI, for me, and I think for many people I know, is going to bring so much opportunity to be able to bring to the fore people that have, for whatever reason, decided to have a day-to-day job, but in actual fact they're really creative in their thinking, inventing, coming up with ideas or ideation and what have you. And I think they've not had the chance for it because they've been focusing too much on the day-to-day. I think maybe it helps. I don't know.
Do you know what, ladies? I think we smashed it. I think, you know, we have AI.
Yay! Love it.
AI is the most powerful tool of our time, and it's already accelerating industries, decision-making, economic growth, freeing up our time. But I think unless women are part of shaping it, we do risk being left behind. So this International Women's Day 2025, let's not just celebrate progress, let's accelerate it.
I love it. I think the WithAI network is all of us, women, the three of us, and it also has got really supportive men as well. We have got one, Nadio, who does the education one. He's done an amazing article that I think we'll be sharing at some point, probably in the show notes as well. So just a shout out to Dave and the other Dave and Nadio and Will and everybody in our group that's been really supportive as well. Like we're not, what I do want to be really positive about, and I think ladies will agree, is like thanks to the blokes that are supporting us as well. Like, go you, but we're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to put all of this in the show notes and links to Iyabo, your show, and Lena, your show. So I think all that leaves me to say is Iyabo Oba and Lena Robinson, thank you so much for coming on Women with AI.
You are very welcome, and I just want to do a shout out to everybody to stay curious.
Yeah, and thanks so much for having us. It's been an awesome discussion, and it's great to sort of share the platform. So great stuff.
Yeah, and this is my first three-way podcast.
Yeah. Hey, awesome! And we're accelerating action. We love it.
1 year celebration. Whoop, whoop. See you later.
See you. Bye.